Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Jadine Halliday. I am the Chief Scientific Officer at EL Science. Today I'm going to be talking about EL Science's solution-based approach to TPD compliance. We at EL Science understand that ensuring your e-liquid products and devices are compliant with the Tobacco Products Directive is paramount to maintaining and growing your successful business. As such, we have spent the last 2 years putting together a service offering that we feel encompasses all aspects of TPD compliance. We will work with you every step of the way. Our goal is to not only provide you with the analytical results and the toxicological assessments that you require for your TPD submission, but to also help you maintain your e-liquid's flavor profile whilst reducing any individual components of toxicological concern. Okay, so to give you a very quick background on some of the lab team members, this is me. As I mentioned before, I'm the Chief Scientific Officer and I manage the EL Science division. My background is in analytical chemistry. It's often been with a focus on forensic analysis. Prior to joining EL Science, I was Science Director at a company called CSI Drug and Alcohol Testing up north in County Durham. Dr. Colin Chappell is our Analytical Manager. He manages the analytical laboratories, so the routine day-to-day batch testing, as well as the more complex and interesting research and development work. Colin has extensive experience in method development, particularly within flavors and fragrances. Dr. Shiro Kang is Senior Analytical Chemist, and she is an expert in the field of thermal desorption and breath and vapor analysis. Okay, so to move on to some of the requirements of the TPD, in terms of hardware, all products that contain or could contain nicotine in the form of e-liquid require a TPD submission. Hardware importers or manufacturers must submit technical dossiers to the MHRA which detail extractables and leachables testing, leak-free filling mechanism testing, and emissions testing. The point of looking at the extractables and leachables is to identify, quantify, and minimize harmful impurities which could leach from containers and packaging into products. This is very important as it can impact efficacy, safety, and ultimately the quality of the product. Leak-free filling is another test that needs to be performed, which we're able to do for you. It's not particularly difficult. Basically, to be considered leak-free, the refill container must emit no more than 20 drops of e-liquid per minute when placed vertically. Emissions testing is where it becomes more complicated. We can identify whether the particular item of hardware is liable to cause thermal degradation of e-liquid at a level that is of toxicological concern. We will also look to see if any metals from, for example, poor quality coils, have been transferred into the e-liquid aerosol. If the wick is silica-based, the aerosol should also be examined to ensure that needles or other dangerous small particles are not being generated. If they are identified in the aerosol, then the wicking material grade should be changed. And finally, we can do the nicotine dose measurements as well. For the e-liquid itself, we're able to perform a full compositional analysis, allowing us to identify ingredients within your product. This then can be used to back up chemical breakdowns from concentrate manufacturers, if you've actually been able to get them to provide you with one. The emissions testing for the e-liquid is performed by targeting specific compounds that are of toxicological concern. Because the vapor is a liquid aerosol, it means that the majority of compounds would be exactly the same as those found in the e-liquid testing. However, there will be some hydrolysis, oxidation, and thermal degradation products formed on heating, so those products are the ones that we need to target. We can also provide toxicological hazard assessments on your end products. We are part of a collaboration of like-minded manufacturing labs who are heavily investing in acquiring toxicological data on as many key flavor compounds as possible. This then allows us to identify any e-liquid or flavor components of particular concern to inhalation health. It allows us to justify the inclusion of others, and importantly, it provides thresholds below which these compounds are considered to not be of toxicological concern to the end product user. If a recipe requires reformulation because it doesn't meet the toxicological requirements of the TPD, we can help you do that in a scientifically robust manner. We want to ensure the integrity of your product's sensory profile whilst reducing or entirely eliminating the compounds of toxicological concern. We have flavor chemists, some with PhDs in organic chemistry, and a dedicated flavour laboratory which are at your disposal to provide synthetic alternatives to problematic concentrates or even individual components within a concentrate. This leads me on to a software application that we're in the process of developing. Our EL Science members will have access to this program on their computers, phones or tablets, and it will allow them to develop flavours not just based on how good something tastes or vapes, but also with consideration towards the toxicological effects that it may have. We absolutely believe that this is the future of flavour development. It's a complete waste of time to develop something that tastes amazing, only to put it through analysis and tox assessment to find that you won't be able to sell it. You want to build a TPD compliant flavour from the ground up. Finally, we'll also put your technical dossier together for you, which will include all of the analytical and toxicological data that is required, along with scientific interpretations and assessments. So, to summarise, this is our roadmap to TPD compliancy. Phase 1 is to send in your pre-acceptance samples. These allow us to do a complexity screen on your product's flavour profile and will allow us to more accurately quote for the full TPD analysis on your e-liquid. We are accepting these now, and I would absolutely recommend that you get them in as soon as possible in order to take advantage of the early bird discounts that we currently have running. These are charged at £200 plus VAT per sample, not per SKU, and this amount will be taken off your total TPD fee, which is likely to be between £3,500 and £5,000 per flavour. Phase 2 comprises the e-liquid and vapour analysis. This is then followed by toxicological assessment of individual components as well as your end product as a whole. If reformulation is required, we will then move into phase 4, where we reformulate together in an educated way regarding the toxicological effects and using a bespoke mathematical model that we've developed in-house. Once you're happy with your flavour and it meets all criteria, we move to the confirmatory phase. Here we perform confirmatory analysis of the product and then collate the technical dossier. Finally, your notification can then be submitted to the MHRA for review. I'd like to thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to get in touch with us. Our TPD services brochure is available on our website, elscience.co.uk, as is a wealth of other information. And I would like to remind you to get your samples in as soon as possible, as time is really not on our side. Thank you.